Millions of Americans, especially black women, Medicaid is more than just a program. It is a lifeline. It covers nearly 40% of all births in the U.S., often the only access to care many mothers have. Now, federal law guarantees just 60 days of postpartum coverage, and in states that haven't expanded Medicaid, that coverage can disappear right when the mothers need it the most. Now, Congress took a step forward, making it permanent for states to extend that coverage to a full year, but not every state has signed on. Now, a Republican-backed House budget threatens to slash Medicaid by $880 billion. Now, what's crazy is that they still swear they're not trying to cut Medicaid, but everything says they are trying to cut Medicaid. Illinois Congresswoman Robin Kelly joins us in the studio. Glad to have you back here.
Thanks.
And that's the thing that cracks me. Like, I've seen interviews on other networks. I've seen speeches. Oh no, we're not trying to cut Medicaid. I mean, Speaker, I'm gonna find a clip. Speaker Mike Johnson, Democrats, they're just lying. That's not what we're doing. So what the hell are they doing then?
Well, I was in the 26.5-hour markup in Energy and Commerce, and I'm on the healthcare subcommittee. That is what they're doing. They're lying, like you said. And it's, you know, Speaker Johnson, he comes, you know, Mr. Christian man, and then he's defending, you know, the most evil, cruel man, I think, on the earth. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. No, they're cutting. And in my district alone, out of 753,000 people, 300,000 people will lose their health care. Right next door to me, Jonathan Jackson, I think about 260,000. So just our two districts alone, almost 600,000 people will lose their health care.
We actually played a clip during that markup of one of the CBC members who was literally reading off how many people in each Republican district had Medicaid, and it was anywhere from 20 to 40%.
Oh, their districts, their people will lose more than ours.
Because they represent a lot of broke white people. See, the reason I keep putting it that way, because anytime we talk about poverty in this country, people automatically think black. But the reality is the Republican Party represents a lot of broke white people.
And my district is urban, suburban, and rural, so I know you're right. Yeah, I have 4,500 farms in my district, so you are correct. Their folks will lose more than us, but you know.
So how do you get them though to understand that? Because it trips me out anytime election comes around, and you will see these folks who will challenge black folks. Dems ain't done nothing for y'all. Why you voting against your interests? And I'm sitting there going, West Virginia is the brokest, most illiterate, federally dependent state in the union, and they vote solid red. And I'm like, they vote against their interests every single election.
Mississippi, yeah. I mean, they don't, I don't know what it is. Well, I think it's fear, prejudice. I think that plays a big role into it. But even the Congress people, why are you in office if you're not there to uplift people? Why are you doing this? Because they're scared too. You know, they're scared of primaries. They're scared of retaliation. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I say every day, I'm not going to use this word, but it's so unbelievable and outrageous that they're doing this.
This is the one that gets me here: fraud, waste, abuse. Fraud, waste, abuse. And so here's Mike Johnson saying that. And on the flip side, I want to ask, have they still identified it? Y'all listen to this here.
No one has talked about cutting one benefit in Medicaid to anyone who's duly owed. What we've talked about is returning work requirements. So, for example, you don't have able-bodied young men on a program that's designed for single mothers and the elderly and disabled. They're draining resources from people who are actually do that. So if you clean that up and shore it up, you save a lot of money and you return the dignity of work to young men who need to be out working instead of playing video games all day. We have a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse in Medicaid. Just one tiny example. The estimate is $51 billion a year in Medicaid is lost to fraud. That's unconscionable. We now have, with the DOGE efforts and with new algorithms and with new oversight responsibilities and opportunities, we have ability to carve that out. We have a responsibility to do it. That estimate by some people, some estimates say that is very low. It's actually much higher than that. So
Have you seen any evidence of that?
No. And Democrats care about waste, fraud, and abuse. There ain't that much waste, fraud, and abuse. That's their 3 code words.
Like, my whole deal is like, if you say it's, okay, show me.
No, they haven't shown us.
In fact, out of all that nonsense, Elon was talking about $2 trillion in cuts. They couldn't even find $100 billion. He just said there were $51 billion in Medicaid. So Medicaid would have been responsible for half of the fraud. And we got algorithm. Fine, show me.
They haven't shown us a thing. Like I said, I was in committee for 26 and a half hours, stayed up 25 hours when we were all fighting back in the Rules Committee. They haven't shown a thing. As was said, they're lying. Just to keep it simple.
What do you make of your members on the other side? Y'all have nice terms. Y'all have to use, the gentle lady. I'm sorry, I could never be in Congress because Marjorie Taylor Greene was talking.
I've never used that.
And I literally be like, crazy ass over there. That's what Roe be doing. They be gaveling me all damn day. But the thing that gets me is to listen to now these fools. I ain't know that was in there. So you openly admitting you didn't read it, but then you defending your vote for it, but then say, man, we hope the Senate fixes it before it comes back to us.
The House Dems are fighting with the Senate Republicans. They do not agree. And of course, some of the Senate Republicans want more cuts. And then some are saying, Josh Hawley, political suicide, but he is saying it's morally not right. And then we'll see what Susan and Lisa Murkowski do. But they're not agreeing with each other. And as you see, Speaker is still defending the bill. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
What do you want folk watching and listening to do? Because the reality is, yes, it passed the House, but it has to go through the Senate. It may not pass. If it does, it's going to be a totally different bill, which then goes back to the House. Now you have the reconciliation process before they have to then vote again. And folk at home need to be doing something.
Yes. This is no time to stay on the sidelines. People have to make their voices heard, especially if you're represented by a Republican senator, if you're represented by a House member, you have to make your voices heard. That's why we're going in their districts. I went out of my district in a red district to have a town hall.
Is that because Republicans?
Because they're not.
They're not having it.
Right, because they're not having it. So a lot of us are doing that, going outside of our districts, and the town halls are full because because people are so upset that their voices are not being heard, and they keep saying these are paid Democrats. I ain't paying anybody to come to the town hall I did. They all came on their own.
Well, on that, before I go to questions from Robert and Noel, the thing that trips me out is when they say that they act like everybody in your district is not a Democrat.
No.
And so the reality is, if you have a town hall, you could have Republicans in your town hall who don't like what you're doing. So this idea that, if you're a Republican and the only people who are showing up are Republicans who agree with you is crazy. I forgot which one of the members, they restricted who could come in, that it had to show that you were constituent, and he still got his ass lit up because they were still constituents. And this is what I keep saying to people watching this show, whether you're black or not. I don't care if the person who won you didn't support. You are still a constituent.
That's right.
And they still should be responding to you.
That's right. And in my district, like I said, I have 4,500 farms. Most of my farmers are Republican, and there's a lot of buyer's remorse. They've been in my office. They're getting killed by, no more USAID, the tariffs. And if, this happens with SNAP, they said $230 billion, but it's $313 billion. So people can't eat. They don't go to the grocery store. So whatever grocery stores you stop at, they won't have as many people shopping, and they won't buy as much food from the farmers. So we're all connected. The people, corporate, the farmers, people will get laid off from the grocery stores because there won't be enough work. So, we can't keep saying the other person because eventually all of us are going to be the other person.
And look, I know you too nice. I know you way too nice. And see, again, this is another reason why I could never, ever be elected, because I'm petty. No, I'm petty. No, if one of them farmers walked in my office, I'd be like, who your ass vote for?
They admitted it.
And then that's when y'all show the shirt. So we got 3 shirts we have on the show. Go ahead and pull the graphic up. One of our shirts is "Don't Blame Me, I Voted for the Black Woman."
Yeah.
That's one of them. The other one is Project 2025, Project Crossed Out. We got FAFO 2025. And the other one is MAGA chose between woke or broke. They chose broke. That was an Anthony Scaramucci quote. I had to put it on a T-shirt. But again, that's the thing that kills me. Oh, so y'all voted for him, and the fool told you he was going to do the tariff game again, and y'all didn't remember that it cost us $25 billion last time for the tariffs. There were farmers that actually were filing for bankruptcy, and so now after the fact, now you complain about the tariffs because you're getting killed. Now you complain about Medicaid. Now you complain about they want to kill Affordable Care Act and you ain't got no health care. Now you want to complain about SNAP, they want to cut that, but you voted for them. And now they're asking you, oh, please, Congresswoman, please, can you save me?
But everyone says we didn't think he was going to do it. And that we,
oh my God.
Church said, we tried to tell you. He always does what he says he's going to do. That's
the one that kills me. I was in San Francisco, the NBA All-Star game, and his brother, I was walking on the street, his brother stopped me. He was like, yeah, bro, but I ain't really think. I was like, what are you talking? The man said, I'm going to give cops 100% immunity. So now you shocked? I'm deporting people. I'm stopping people from coming to the country. Mm-hmm. I'm like, unlike other folk, he literally said what he's going to do, and now you tripping. And I know you got to listen to them because they constituents, but I'd be cussing. I'd be cussing.
But that's just like all the layoffs, like HHS. They were Democrat and Republican. They didn't look to see how you voted.
Nope.
He took the chainsaw to everybody.
Yep.
Everybody. So those are people with no jobs, no health care.
Robert, what's your question?
Congressman, you do an outstanding job representing your district. It's an honor to be on with you.
Man, stop sitting here saying all that stuff. You work for Congressman Jonathan Jackson. Hell, she already know that.
She's outstanding.
Oh, my God, you're doing an amazing job.
That's how you do it.
Amazing job. Lord,
I'm saying that because it's going to be a hard question.
You buttering me up.
Exactly. That's the idea. Roland can't let anybody else just do the butter. So when we talk about these Trump policies, you mentioned the fact that so many farmers in your district are going to be deleteriously affected by it. When you look at the largest import and export partners of Illinois, it's Canada and Mexico. When you look at much of the economic traffic that goes through Illinois, we're talking about China. If Trump's tariffs just went into place, he's already changed his tariff policy over 53 times in his first 130 days. We will see Illinois go into receivership. And if you take that in addition to what's in the quote-unquote big beautiful bill, the big beautiful or the big brutal lie, whatever bill it is.
Like big beautiful bill.
Yeah. I also want to mention people that came from a quote he made on Howard Stern in 1996 when he was talking about big beautiful something else that started with a B, and now that's the U.S. budget. That's the side point.
Sick.
What do you think has to happen messaging-wise to help those farmers understand that, look, if your guy passes everything he wants, you are going to be out of work and homeless by the end of this year?
That's how we're actually going to these places to be face-to-face and actually having meetings, and we are continuously informing people, and like we say, we're litigating, legislating, and communicating, and we're not supposed to, but a little bit agitating too, because they have to
we
stand
had Congressman Maxine Waters. She said there needs to be a whole lot of agitating.
Well, you had Auntie Max, so. I know, but we're talking to them, telling them that this is the way it's going to be, and if you don't speak up, if you don't complain, if you don't make your voices heard, like people call Democrats, what are y'all going to do? And like I said, have you called Republicans? They're the ones, we only needed 4 or 3 to side with us, and they're the ones not doing it. We're doing everything we can. We're again, that's how we were in ENC, 26 and a half hours. We threw every amendment we could throw at them, even amendments that they voted for. Like that was my legislation that extended the postpartum Medicaid period from 60 days to a year. And they voted for it last year, and this year when I raised it again to codify it, they all voted no. So stuff they voted for because Elon Musk told them to. Elon Musk told them to take it out the bill. So, there's a part, and again, like Roland said, you can't say it, but like I'll say, some people say maybe people have to live in there.
And
what I've said on the show, what I've said, I said this really after the inauguration. I literally said, I hate to say it, I hate that we have to deal with it, but some people are going to have to get fired. They're going to lose. They're going to have to live through and experience the results of their stupidity with how they voted. For them to then go, damn, maybe I should have.
We've had a lot of buyer's remorse.
Maybe Kamala wasn't so bad.
We've had a lot of buyer's remorse. So many members have said that. People calling us.
And just real quick follow-up on that point. You mentioned that the Republicans were only able to pass this, this big, brutal lie by one vote. And that's because 8 of the last 10 members of Congress to die in office have been Democrats.
Right.
Can you speak to the need for generational change, both in the House and in the Senate, and the importance of kind of bringing in new blood that will be able to advocate zealously and be there when there's a one-vote majority?
Well, I think we always have to bring in new blood, but also I think we need the Maxine Waters of the world and the Jim Clyburns of the world also. I think it needs to be a mix of people, but, each Congress, infusing the, Maxwell Frost and, some of the other people that, Lauren Underwood, some of the other people that have come in. But I think we need a mix of people because, like, when I came in, I wasn't young like Maxwell, but I liked that I had John Lewis and Elijah Cummings and all of those guys, Cleaver, to learn from. I think that was a good thing too. They mentored us, like we're mentoring some of the, other people. But yes, I think it's always good to have an infusion of new blood, new ideas, new energy. But I know I work hard, and I know Maxine Waters works hard and is not outworked. So
my position on that, Nola, get ready. Which means turn your damn microphone on. Nola. Yeah. Is listen, there are members who are in their 70s and 80s who are vigorous, who can do the work. Yeah, my parents are 78, and they out there doing stuff that a lot of 40 and 50-year-olds can't do. But if you are a member and you're consistently ill and it's hard to get around.
Definitely.
That's a whole different conversation. It's just like if I hear Senator Fetterman complain one more time about, my Senate duties and they want me there for a vote.
Yes.
You ran. That's actually part of your job to show up to vote on what you think is meaningless. And if you don't think that's important, go get another job. I don't care what it is.
And like for us, we're so tight. We need everybody to come in. And we had someone come in that just had surgery, someone that just had a baby. They all flew back, to be there. So we need everybody because it's so tight. And actually, the day we lost by one vote is when Representative Conley died.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nola.
Congresswoman, thank you so much for all the work that you were doing. And, it's a very interesting conversation about buyer's remorse and FAFO. But, I'm seeing a trend where there are a lot of white males who are kind of congregating together as if the hope for the party can only be through a white male, as if, well, we tried this black lady, it didn't work out. So then, we have to go back to the thing that we know. And that thing might be the only thing to get the farmers and the people that have buyer's remorse to possibly vote Democrat. I actually do not believe that. I think that is a mistake, and for the party to pivot that way. So my question is for you. When they come in and they have conversations with you about buyer's remorse, what do those conversations look like? Are you talking about race? Are you talking about gender? Because those things really did factor into it. Yes, there is a history of deep red Republicans voting against their own interests. But right now, in the age of Trump, I personally believe that there's a element of cultism, the way that they will respond and do whatever he says, no matter how he treats them. That's not an easy thing to penetrate, right? And then that's also built on top of racism and white supremacy and all of that. So how do you see a way to penetrate through that if the leader turns out to be another person of color?
Well, the buyer's remorse I'm speaking about has really come from Republicans more so than Democrats. Like I said, farmers that have been in my office and other people, not so much from Democrats, but yes, I think fear and racism, prejudice, whatever you want to say, went into why Vice President Harris didn't become President Harris. But I think that the way this is going down, I will be so shocked if we don't flip the House. If they keep going like this, we could even, flip the Senate, who knows. But it's hard to say what people do, because I agree with you, that is like a cult. There are still people saying, give him a chance. Give him a chance. And, when you look at some of his, rallies and different things like that, or even things I've seen on TV, there's people of color, Black people, Latinos still taking up for him too. And I just cannot, well, we have, people on the other side of the aisle, Black reps, male, voting for all the policies. It's unbelievable.
It is, and I'm going to play a couple of clips next. The meeting here of the German Chancellor in the Oval Office today was just pure ignorance, literally insulting him, even when it comes tomorrow being D-Day. But that's what happens when we have. I'm trying not to cuss. I've been. It's like it's
You've been
like
good. You've been good.
No, I know, but it's like I travel around the country and folks be like, Roland, you got to stop cussing. I'm like, yeah, but anytime I bring up that twice impeached, criminally convicted felon in chief, cuss words just flow. So that's it. Well, folks, again, y'all have y'all homework when it comes to this, what you call it, the BBL?
Yeah, the big brutal lie.
Okay, all right.
It is sucking out everything from the poor and injecting it into the back pockets of the rich.
So y'all know what the work y'all have to do. Congresswoman Robin Kelly, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.